It's Monday. It's been a whole week of streams. Now we're starting on our second week of streaming. Alright. So far, so good. Alright, so I'm going to just do a few things like make sure the episode name's right. Let's see. Let's go test stream. Alright, so we got camera movement. I think that's the right name for everything. Let's see. I'm going to go to scripts. No, not scripts. Assets, readme. Yeah, we're going to do third-person camera controls, first-person camera controls, and I don't think we're going to create a beach terrain. Oh, and we looked at particles last time, and I'm going to post that up. I haven't posted that up. And we'll continue playing with the particles too, because that's how if you break the sandcastle, like if you destroy it, instead of it just like disappearing or something, you kind of want it to turn into particles and fall down to the ground and make a mound on the ground. So it's close to getting to the beach terrain, but not quite. Okay, so we'll make the last thing we talked about today, destroying a sandcastle. Okay. So what I was trying to test here, I think, unsuccessfully. Oh, it's not even on there. Oh wait, it's here. We'll redo all of that later. Let's open up scene 00. And let me just post on Facebook right quick that I am streaming. I gotta make it a habit of just copying and pasting this part. Yeesh. And copy this part. Alright, live scene started, blah 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 blah. Cool. Episode 7. One whole week. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to push this off to the side, pop out the chat. And it's not popping out. There we go. Minimize that. Cool. Okay. I'm a little off-centered. Let me fix that. Okay. Maybe even be like that. Alright, good enough. So what do we have? So we have a guy. He runs around. He jumps. He crouches. And if you right click, you get a first person view, and then you can add little sand castles everywhere. And then if you make a little wall of them, you can jump over them. Oops, I didn't hit the jump key. Jump over them. Woohoo! Alright, I like it. Okay, so camera movement. We're going to do third-person camera movement and first-person camera movement. It's unexplored territory to me, so bear with me. For the third-person camera, we're going to use WASD to kind of rotate around and zoom in and out. WS being the zoom in and out, A and D to be the kind of left and the right rotation. Alright, so let's see what we can do. It's going to be more scripting, so I'll just do that. We'll call this camera rotate and zoom. Sounds good enough to me. Alright. This is where it's going to be a little weird for me because I don't know exactly how to work with rotations on the camera. So I know there is like a vector look at or something. So if I say vector 3 something equals vector 3 look at or something, or maybe it's quaternion. Quaternion something quaternion dot look at look rotation. But I'm probably gonna pull up the Unity documentation right quick on that. So it's Unity3d.com. Learn documentation. Learn documentation. It's gonna be. I'm just look up quaternion. Yep. So we have the quaternion. It's probably around here. Maybe not. I'm thinking it's like it's not quite what I wanted. Scripting API. I'm sorry. That's what I want. Unity editor, Unity engine, classes, quaternion and Q. Nope. Not what I want. What if I look up here? Quaternion here. There we go. Is under, just for my future reference. Yeah, under classes. Alright, I just missed it. Quaternion. These are used to rotate rotation and set look. Creates a rotation which specified the forward and upwards direction. So the forwards would be towards whatever you're looking at, and the upwards would be up from whatever you're looking at. So, okay. Let's see. Set from rotation, sets. Yeah, this is hard because I've never really looked at this stuff. Look rotation. Alright, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this thing look at the target. So what I might do is just make an object with a little arrow sticking out of it, and I'm going to try to make it rotate so it looks at another game object, just so I can understand how it all works. And the zoom part should be easy. Zooming is just moving back and forth like that. But the rotation part, where you have a point and you're like rotating around it, that part, that's a little hard for me. So here we go. For this object, all I'm going to do is have a target. So yeah, let's see. Serialized field and vector 3, or actually I'll make it a transform. Target. Okay, so what we want this target to do, besides go on the second line, because I don't want it to do that, I want this target, I want our current transform I'm going to say rotation equals quaternion dot look rotation, and I want it to look towards. Oh, it just needs a vector, huh? Okay, so for the vector we can say transform dot position. We'll call this vector 3 forward, or look at vector. Transform that position minus target that position, and then we get the look at vector, and that should be it. Is that it? Alright, let's give it a shot. So we got this camera rotate and zoom. So what do we got? Let's go ahead and make 2 or 3 objects. I'm gonna make a cube. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna make another cube in this cube, and it's gonna be like 1 in the Z direction. So I want it to be scaled a little bit in the Z direction. So you can think of this as the cube, and as it rotates around, it'll look at something. Okay, so we have that, and then just a little bit in the distance, create another empty object. I'm going to move this over here. So this cube should look at this point. Actually, let's make it something physical so we can see it. A sphere. Alright, so we have the sphere. This little cube thing is going to look at the sphere. Okay, so to do that, we're going to select our cube. We're going to do our camera rotate and zoom, and our target is going to be our sphere. So hopefully, just with that, if we move the sphere around, this thing will work. Okay, might be backwards, but that's okay. If I move it around, yeah, but at least it's looking. So that's cool. That is definitely looking. So that's the behavior we want. We want this. We want the camera to look at something. So cool. That's a great function. How about the up and down? So it works sideways. Yeah, and it looks up and down. Alright, so maybe I screwed up with something anyway. So the cube is there. This cube is 1. So if I moved it the other way, yeah, I don't know. Just feels like cheating. But yeah. It is cool. The other way to solve that problem was not to do that. Like to leave it like that, but then to go into the script, which is probably what I have to do, and switch these two things, like get the target position first and subtract the transform position. I think that's the other way to do it. Yeah, and that's the way I really wanted to do it. So cool, it's looking at the sphere. Perfect. So we got the look at thing working. Now let's keep going. So we have a camera, and we want it to look at the player, and we just want to hit WASD to rotate around the player like this, like a circle. So we got it to look at something. Now all we have to do is move it around the circle above the player. So to do that, we're going to get the point on the circle above the player. So basically a point which is the same X, the same Z as player, but the Y is going to be of the camera. And then we move it around a circle somehow. We could do it via rotation by like pinning a empty object on where the player is, and then moving the camera outside of the empty object and just rotating the empty object around, which it actually isn't a bad idea. Or we could do the calculation. What to do? And the calculation would be just like get the cosine and the sine of the degree that you're rotated at, and then you actually figure it out. But I kind of like the lazy way, or not the lazy way, the more parent-child way of doing this. So let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it this way. So what I said I was going to do is create. We're going to have player camera or camera target. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll think of a name in just a sec. But basically, we're going to put the player camera on this game object. Game object's going to be at 0, 0, 0. Player camera is going to be off. So like right now, where is player camera? Player camera. Oh, player camera is right in here. That's not the one I want to do. Fix all that. Sorry, wrong one. Undo, 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 undo. I can delete this cube. We know my script is working. It's the main camera that we want to rotate. So we have a target. I think what I'm going to do is just have a rotation, and the rotation will just be from 0 to 360, and we'll compute where the camera should be on that rotation. Better just do it by scripting. So here we go. And then after you move the camera along that circle, you have to look at the player, or look at the target. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Here we go. So let me think. We have a target. We're gonna need. Well, we have the target position. This is what we'll do. We're gonna get center circle. It's the center of the circle that the camera is going to rotate around, and so that's going to be a new vector 3 of the, just making sure I'm saying this, the target dot position dot x, the camera scratch that, the transform dot position dot y, and the target dot position dot z. So we're getting it right above the player. So the player is here. We're getting the center of the circle, which is above the player. Okay, center circle. So we got center circle. What we need also is the distance of the camera from the circle. So this can just be a float. Camera distance from center, and that's simply a distance formula, distance of transform that position and center circle. Okay, so we got that distance, and I feel like I should grab this at the start, not during the update loop. So I feel like this stuff should actually exist here, and it should be like a private variable. So center circle. Yeah, that sounds good. Alright, center circle, it's a field. Camera distance from center is a field. And that look at vector is cool. We'll just compute that on the fly. Alright, and this center circle is actually the center circle. using Windows 10, Jules 34. Alright, so we got the center above this player, we got the camera's distance. Now the other final private float is going to be rotation. And rotation is just going to be a number between 0 and 360. So if you have a player and you have the camera, it's going to rotate around the player. But you know, here it'll be 0 degrees, here it'll be 90, here it'll be 180, here it'll be 270, and then it'll come back to 360 or 0. And so I'm going to use that modulus function that we were using earlier to kind of just make sure it stays between 0 and 360. So to do that, just do rotation equals rotation modulus 360. So it'll always return a value that is yeah, that's between 0 and 360, but not 360. If it's 360, it'll go back to 0. Okay, so we got the modulus, so we got the rotation. I guess the one thing we can do is make this a serialized field to debug. And I like to put my, no, it's okay. And then basically I check for the horizontal input. So I say if input dot get button is horizontal. Yeah, if you're on Windows 7, should you upgrade to Windows 10? So I think so. If you hit start, oh wait, no, I'm on Windows 8. I'm sorry. This is still Windows 8. My work computer and my laptop are Windows 10, but this is Windows 8, so I can't show you the cool, like, the better start menu. Like, this is still the old, this is the Windows 8 start menu, which I don't like. But yeah, I think you should totally upgrade to Windows 10. It's a cool, I like it. So if input.get button is horizontal, all we do is rotation plus equals input dot get axis horizontal. So this get axis function is it's a float, right? It's a float, I think, between 0 and 1, I think. And so if you're on like an Xbox controller or something, if you like slowly go left or right, it doesn't return 1, it just returns like 0.5 or 0.2. And then if you're going all the way, it's 1. And if you're not on an Xbox controller, if you hit left, you just get the number 1. So that's it, horizontal plus 1 plus equals 1. So as long as you're holding it down, you rotate at least 1 degree every update. So that's 30 or 60 updates per second, per second. So you'll be rotating about 30 or 60 frames per 30 to 60 degrees per second. So let's see if that works. Just in debug, nothing should be moving. And this camera rotate and zoom, I'm going to put this on the main camera. Come on, there we go. So I don't know if you see that. Might be blocked by my head. I'm waiting for my stream to catch up. But you probably don't. If you don't, I will kind of make my head transparent for a bit for the rest of this. Where's my head? Here it is. Oh yeah, you do see it. But look, now I'm a little more transparent and you can see the stuff even if my head's all up in the way. Oh, I see I got a chat. Let's see. I'm going to pop it up on the big one. Oh, my platforms for the game. That's a great question. I want to hit the 2 major mobile platforms, which is Android and iPhone or iOS. But I also want it to be a Windows and Mac game, and that's kind of what I'm programming right now. It's like I'm programming the kind of Windows Mac camera movements, because if you're on a mobile device, it's hard to like move the camera around if you got to do stuff and rotate the camera. So you rarely do the rotation of the camera on a mobile platform. Like, at least you don't let the users really do that. You do that automatically for them. So yeah, what I'm programming now would be just on a Windows or a Mac, not necessarily a mobile platform. But you know, everything counts, and I'm trying to make it multi-platform. So, and I want to make it feel good on both platforms. I don't want it to feel like, oh man, this feels like a Windows game that got ported over to a mobile. Like, I want both the interfaces for the mobile and the actual computer to feel natural. So yeah. Alright, so what am I doing? Okay, yeah, I'm testing this rotation. So if I hit play, right now the rotation's at 0. If I hit left, hit right, nothing's happening. So rotation's not being updated whatsoever. And I see there's some other things happening. I see that, oh, there's no target defined. Okay, so let's do that. Yep, stop it. I understand. There's no target defined. The target, what is this target? What? Is this a thing? Should I be worried about this thing? Does it move? I don't remember this target. It's not being updated by my camera script. Alright, I'm going to delete this. Hopefully I'm not breaking anything by deleting that. Okay, nope. Anyway, okay, cool. The target, much like this target, is going to be player. Alright, so hopefully no errors. Good, all blanked out. Now right. There you go. If I hold down right, you can see this rotation's going up. And hopefully at 360 it'll come back to 0. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't have the negative set up right. Or basically the negative just will also be, my range right now is between negative 360 and positive 360. So if I wanted the modulus to work really right, I would have to go around the 180. So let's do that. Negative 180 would be 0 and positive 180 would be 0, which is correct. So let's go back to the script, wherever that may be. So Julia J, do you use any other platforms besides Windows 7? Like, do you use Macs or anything? Gotta make this 180. Alright, so the rotation is between negative 180 and 180. So okay, let me try that one more time. Get the main camera. It's going, 180, bam. Oh, but it's not supposed to go to 0, it's supposed to go to 80. So even that code's wrong. Okay, so something's got to give. But what? I know, I used to know this. I totes forgot though. I think this is what I'm going to do. There's a formula for this. Maybe Google can help with this. Rotation, clamp, modulus or something? Yeah, something like this. Yeah. Let's see, like 3/16 modulus or modulus, something like this. I mean, I could totally just do the if statements too. I just like these little what am I trying to say? I like these formulas for this. Minimize orientation. Man. It's okay. I'm totes not getting what I want. I mean, it's all good. All these solutions are fine. The 360 wasn't bad. I just don't like the negative part, so I'm gonna just say rotation. If it's if this rotation is greater than, I mean, less than 0, then rotation 360 minus rotation, or 360 plus rotation, because it'll be a negative number, and then or it's just rotation. So if it's less than 0, just take 360 plus the rotation, otherwise make it 0. So this will keep it not going negative. I just didn't want to have to do it in 2 lines. I'm like, I want to have that very efficient looking code. But okay. Dun, 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 dun. This is not what I want to do. What do I want to do? Here we go. Rotation. So rotation goes 180, 270, 360. Okay, and then if I try to go backwards, below 0, yeah, it goes up to 360. Nice. So if I try to go too negative, it goes to 359. There you go. So that is it. That is the magic here. What I don't get, it's like these, I don't understand why it's like point something. Like I thought the axis would just be 1, right? And it just add. Anyway, not too worried about it. Cool, so we got rotation. So now we have a number between 0 and 360. Awesome. So what's next? Since we have a number between 0 and 360, and we got the center of the circle, what to do next would be to it would be to find out where the camera should be. So this code will basically take the target position and the transform position and get the camera to look at the target. So that always was the case. I wonder if that's working now, because if so, this camera should rotate. Oh yeah, the camera does rotate now, and then moves with him, which I don't know if I like, but now it's like rotating and not rotating, rotating and not rotating. So the camera is always moving. Doesn't look good here, but I think really I wanted to look at this target. I think this target, this guy's target and this guy's target should be the same. So this is how I'm going to play that. We're just doing it. We're making an empty target right here, just because it's going to be easier to debug and everything. So now main camera has a target, and the target for right now, I'm going to try to get it to match player. No. Yes. Maybe. Thinking. Alright, where's player? Player is at 0, 0, 0. So if I would make this come out, Yeah, I don't need help. I think I know what I'm doing. Maybe. Man, it's 35 minutes. Okay. Sorry. Resetting this to 0, 0, 0. Cool. So now target's where player is. If I move it to main camera, we see the offsets and everything of target. And so we got target. Target is now going to be our target. And target's going to be this guy's target. So target now needs some kind of follow script of player. That's what the whole thing of this was about. I don't know, I don't know, I don't like what I just did, so I'm going to undo all of this, and we'll go on from there. Alright, just deleted that whole game object idea. It was good, but I think what I'm really going to do is open this guy up, and I'm just going to make this guy public. Oh wait, no, the target tractor, public tracker is going to be public. Or no, I'm going to leave the variable private, but I'm going to give him a public property. So public vector3 target tracker. It's going to be a get only, and it's going to return target tracker. Awesome. So that's how you make a property, a public property. And so now that I have that public property, I'm going to go ahead and get a component. So I'm going to say camera follow target. And so this is the opposite of what we were doing last time. Last time we were decoupling classes. Here I'm like totally combining two classes together, which is not very good practice, but I just need this to start working. New vector 3. Nope, it's not a new vector 3. It's a get component, and it's going to be camera follow targets. Alright, so yeah, so I gotta make this a field, and now we have camera follow target. And so we have the rotation, and we want to look at vector not to look at the target, but look at the camera follow target. So that's going to be dot, what was it, tracker, target tracker. So instead of using the player, we're going to use the target tracker of camera follow target. And I am going to delete this target because we don't need it anymore. It's going to use the yeah, sorry. I almost considered just getting target tracker, but that's fine. We'll just get this, and we don't need this position anymore. It's just target tracker.x and target tracker.z. Okay, cool. So should be a little smoother than what was happening before. Not much smoother. But it's not as jerky. Like before, it was jerking when the camera was moving around. The camera's always going to rotate though. So if he's no, the camera's not going to rotate. The camera only moves. Oh yeah, the camera's now just moving. That's right. That's right. We're going to want it to rotate in just a bit here. Okay. Phew. So now we got to create the circle around this guy. And to do that, we got the camera distance, so we know at 0 it'll be here. Now, if we have it at a couple of something else, we want to change the position. So the transform that position is really going to be, it's going to equal, well here, I'm just going to make two floats. Float x is going to be, new x is going to be rotation. So we have the rotation. I lied. It's going to be math f dot cosine of, it says rotation in radians, so I'm going to need that. Do you have like cosine of degrees? Math f dot cosine. I know some programming languages have like cosine degrees. Alright, it doesn't, so we'll just do cosine. Cosine of math f dot degrees to radians, and then we're going to get rotation. Is that right? What did he want? Degrees cannot be used as a method. Well, I thought you were a method. Oh, maybe it's just a constant. Constant times rotation. Yeah, okay. And then float new z is going to equal math f dot sine. So this basically gets you the position around the circle, around that center circle. Sine. Nope. What's it? Deg to rad? Yeah. Times rotation. So we're getting the cosine and the sine. So we're getting a new x, but that only tells you the direction. So what am I trying to say? So you got the distance from the camera to the center of the circle. Yeah, which is 2D. And now you got the x and the z. So now all you got to do is give me a second to think about what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh. Geometry is not my strong suit. I think transform that position is going to equal, yep, I'm going to say equal new, yeah, let's go for it. New vector 3. It's going to be camera distance from center times new x. I'm not going to change this dot y, and then it's going to be camera distance from center times new z. Gosh, is that it? So we got the distance from x and z. We're not adding the center of the circle though, so gosh, we got to do that. Center circle dot x plus center circle dot z. I'm gonna break this down into multiple lines of code, I think, but who knows if this even works. Okay, yeah, that seems great. It's not working at all. Oh, because there's no transform that position. Okay, because we're not using that one anymore. Oh yeah, we are. Camera follow target tracker. You don't find that? Null object reference to. I guess you don't find this. Okay, all good, all good. You can stop. You can stop. Camera target, camera follow target. Oh, because you don't get the component. Yeah, you do. You get your component from. Weird. Alright, so start get camera follow target. Yeah. You know what I'm doing next? Making this a serialized field. Sorry, if I hit play, none. Doesn't even find what I'm looking for. Camera follow target's right there. I see it. What I can do is maybe drag this here. But that just seems cheap. Okay. Oh, check that out, huh? Is that working or what? Nice. Alright, so still following him around, I think. It's not really moving though. The camera follow script's all broken. But the WASD part works fine. So, okay. We're getting there, just not quite there. That part seems good. The camera movement, it's not moving for some reason. Ho 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 ho. I know why. Because we're changing the position of the camera. But we're not changing the center, this thing, the center from the distance, the circle or anything. So let's get all of this. And let's move it to here. So now it's always updating. Alright, cool. So it's moving again. Now if I turn it around, cool. So there you go. We got two scripts working together to make basically one's following the player and one is rotating the camera around the player. Well, not around the player, but the target tracker, which is probably like around there, as you see. Nice. It's pretty cool. I didn't think I was gonna get that, but that looks good to me. Alright, cool. Sorry, I was just playing with it. I was having fun. Okay, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. Alright, so now that I got the camera rotation working, I mean kind of, like it still feels kind of hacky, but I don't mind it right now. Like that wasn't really part of something I wanted to do. It was just a recommendation and it worked out cool. Like I like having it. It was just I feel like yeah, I feel that's good. Let me now figure out what to do here. So we have a rotation and we have a number to tell you where on the rotation you are. Now we need a zoom, like how close or how far we are. I'm gonna go ahead and just make that another serializable field. We have rotation and we need zoom. Zoom, I'm just going to start it off at 1. Okay. So I'm guessing the higher the number the zoom, the closer you are. The lower the number to zoom, the further you are. Okay. That sounds great. I'm going to clamp the zoom. Let's go ahead and clamp it at some really high numbers for now so we can get a full range of what we're doing. So clamping the zoom between, let's say, that's a period, 0.25 and this 6. I like 4, it's a power of 2. So you can zoom in 4 times or you can zoom out like by 4 times. So that seems pretty good. So we got that. I might move the zoom stuff later. So this is all rotational stuff. Put it all together, clump it to a big glob. Alright, zoom. So we got the zoom. If we are at 1, we stay where we are. No, not exactly. Yeah, we stay where we are. Do we? Goodness, I don't remember. You know what? This is a to-do. I don't feel like messing with this right now. To-do, zoom, later. Okay. Since we're doing that later, let's jump to the first person camera and let's think about what we're doing there. First person cam. What am I doing? Alright, first person camera. Here. What is first person camera? How do we handle it? Left, right, up, down. That's what I want to do. So we're going to move it, and the player himself is going to move too when I swipe around here. So how we're going to handle that, let's see. I think on the PC I'm going to just make it, you hold down the right click, and if you move up a little bit, like the screen starts moving up, like you kind of set a velocity. And then when you let go, the velocity accelerates down to 0. So we're going to have an acceleration, a velocity, almost a candidate for physics engine, but I don't really want to use the whole physics engine for this. I think I'll just make a little custom velocity acceleration script. So we're going to make a C#, a camera pan. Yeah, that sounds good. Alright, so serialized field. We're going to have a float of acceleration. We're going to have a serialized field, a float of velocity, no, a vector 3 of velocity, a vector 2, a vector 3. I won't say a vector 2, but we'll do vector 3 for now. Okay, so we got acceleration of velocity. Let's say position. I'll move the velocity up. So this is first power, second power, third power. Or 0th power, first power, second power. Something like that. So we got a position, a velocity, and acceleration. Okay. I'm not going to set this to anything. I just want to make the controls to make this work for now. Okay. If you must. It's never going to let me keep serialized field like that. I need to figure out how to make the default to make it that. Alright, so update. Update is where the stuff's going to happen. So we say input dot get button down. So this would actually be a non, yeah, sure, serialized field. Vector 3. Start drag. Alright, so if input dot get button, yeah. If input.getButton is fire2, then do this stuff. If input dot get button down is fire2, so if you're just clicking, if you just start it, start drag is going to equal to input dot mouse position. So basically we're grabbing the first place you start your drag. So we got velocity. Let's also get a target vector 3. Should it be a vector 3? Yeah. Target velocity. So if input get button down is fire2 start drag, target velocity is going to equal basically your start drag minus, or your mouse position minus your start drag. So basically we're setting that as your target velocity. The further you are away from the mouse, the faster your thing moves. Let's just times this by sensitivity. Something like that. Oof, almost an hour. Okay, so we are, yeah, okay, cool. So target velocity equals input mouse position minus start drag times sensitivity. This whole thing. So this is the velocity that we'll get, and then you can times it by sensitivity, which will be 1 up front. So let's set up some values. Position is going to be 0. Velocity, just a default velocity. I don't really know what good numbers are for this. So I'm just going to put 5, 5. Oh. Welcome, Kyriakos83. Kyriakos? Am I saying that right? So, okay. So velocity is going to be 0 to start drag. And then sensitivity, I'll make this 1. Okay, so I have my target velocity. That's how fast I want to go. And that's basically how far my mouse is from where I started the drag. Okay, so I got my target velocity. Now we need to work our way up to target velocity, but that can work either way. And basically, else my target velocity is going to be 0. Vector 3.0. Okay, so if you have your mouse held down, you're going to set a target velocity, else you're not going to have a target velocity. Okay, cool. So velocity is simply going to be plus equals acceleration. So no, I don't know. Okay, let me think. You want your velocity to equal target velocity. Something like that. Okay, we got to do some checks. So if target velocity minus velocity, this whole thing, dot magnitude is greater than acceleration, then you say velocity plus equals target velocity times acceleration. Oh, this whole thing, the change in velocity. No, I'm still doing this wrong. I gotta normalize some vector or something. Alright, so target velocity minus velocity, that will give me the change in velocity. So let's just go ahead and make that its own vector. Delta velocity equals this basically. And we need a little semicolon there. Okay, so we get delta velocity dot magnitude. If that's greater than acceleration, then your velocity is really going to be delta velocity dot normalized times acceleration. Okay, that makes sense, right? Else velocity equals target velocity. So basically I'm saying if the change in velocity is too big that your acceleration can't reach it, just add the acceleration towards what velocity you want to be going. Else you're within range, so go ahead and make your velocity equals target velocity. So cool. Anything else about that I need? No, I think that's it. Is that it? I hope so. So okay, we got that, and position is basically just be plus equals velocity. It does that all the time. Is that all I got to do? So we got position, we got velocity, acceleration, sensitivity. Good lord, that's just some crazy scripting. Oh great, I'm glad I said it right. But if you ask me to repeat it, I probably won't. But if you're born on 83, we have the same birth year. Okay. So I'm going to just see if this works. And we can see it by the numbers that are being generated. So I'm going to hit play, go to main camera. Oh my gosh, something's happening to zoom. Let me go to the, not the camera pan script, but the other one, the this one, camera rotate and zoom. Oh yeah, I'm plus equaling stuff. That was my bad. Okay. I need the camera pan, but the camera pan's only going to work on a player camera. So, okay. Here we go. We got player camera. I'm going to switch to player camera. Oh, but the right click is to switch cameras too, so I can't really use right click, can I? Nope. Maybe if I right click and start it from here. Yeah. Very bad practice, but oh well. So the velocity, at least, seems to be doing okay. Maybe. So the target velocity, you see it, it's that constant number, and then velocity just moves up to that number and then stops. Okay. Not bad, not bad. But I chose poorly on the right click to switch cameras. So let's see what else we can do instead of right click to switch cameras. So right now the controls are on main camera. No, it's on game controller to switch cameras. So instead of fire 2, let's just make something else. So C is for crouch. Is tab a key I can use? Like if I go say get key down, key code dot tab. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one just to kind of like tab between cameras. Yeah, and I can use this thing to. So my the velocity is looking good, but I think the sensitivity is way too high. So I think I can change that. I can change that just even here. Let's make it like 0.1 for now. Just something really slow. So I tabbed into that camera. Like even at 0.1, it's like we're zooming. I'm gonna make this 0.01. Cool, man. We're not far apart. I'm in August. Yep. 30s, right? Lower 30s, getting games on, you know. It's good times, good times. So you grew up in the age of like Super Mario Brothers coming out when you're like a kid, and Sonic the Hedgehog and all this good stuff. So like the battles between Nintendo and Sega and stuff. Those were the days. Alright, that looks like a good rate for the camera to move. Or maybe not, maybe I gotta even make it lower. Okay, but anyway, I'm thinking now. Now we want to move the camera actually. So we got the, sorry, thinking. We got the position set and everything, camera pan. So with position we can actually set the camera. So transform.position can equal position. So if I do that right now, what happens? Yeah, I thought so. We're gonna need some kind of offset, some like initial offset. So float, nope, vector 3 initial offset equals, oh, it doesn't equal anything there, but when you start the initial offset, it's going to equal to transform.position. Alright, and then basically transform position is really going to be position plus the initial offset. Yeah, man. Oh, the Sega Master System. Yeah, good stuff, dude. Had like Outrun. What else did I have for the Master System? I think Bonk's Adventure was it? No, that was the TurboGrafx. But was it for the Master System? I don't remember. What else did I have for the Master System? Um, Afterburn, is that one? The playing game. Gosh, I remember it. Just those black cartridges with this maroon tag at the top in white letters on the right hand side. All the titles of the games. And then the boxes themselves were these white boxes with like blue line grids. Yep. Yeah, I was definitely a Sega guy too. When it was time to buy the Super Nintendo or the Genesis, I bought the Genesis. Well, I didn't buy it. My parents probably bought it because I was a young kid back then. Oh snap. So I do see a problem. What is happening? I'm so confused. Oh, I'm doing X and Y. Yep, that's a problem too. So this stuff is X and Y. We have to make, this is what we gotta do. Target velocity dot Z is gonna be target velocity dot Y, and target velocity Y is going to be 0. So okay, and then otherwise it's 0. So hopefully the pan works a little bit. Yeah, looking promising. I mean, still super fast, but that looks pretty promising. Let me just add a few more zeros to this thing and maybe that will feel natural. Alright, tab, cool. Oh yeah, I'm panning around now. Looks pretty good. Even though that has to be like super, it's super sensitive. So I just upped it by 5. Yeah. So we have a panning camera. That's cool. I think the problem is if I move and then I tab, like my camera just stays, so it's not updating with my player. So we got initial offset. We also have to move it with the player. So it's not getting the, what am I trying to say? Transform that position. Yeah, I see. So I'm just adding velocity to position, which is fine. That's what I'm supposed to do. Local position. Is that what I have to do? Not world position, just local position. I think that's what I need to do. Gosh, I hope so. Well, alright, first we'll just see if the first person camera is working. So tab, it works fine. If I run over here and then look forward, yeah, I think that's working. Let's see. Yeah, that's working fine. So the closer I'm here, yeah, that's looking good. I always forget that click on the, so the pan actually, and it's good, it's pretty much permanent. So if I pan down and just see his legs at the top, and I go over here and then I switch, I always just see the legs. So okay, the pan is working, and it's working. So now that I'm permanently moved away from the center of the player cam. Not exactly what I want to do, but it's a good start. I mean, we got the panning motion set, so that's feeling pretty good. So we can pan around and then left click to add things. And if I add it on the player, it kind of bounces off. So if I pan over here and start adding some stuff, and I jump over it, woohoo! Or I can just get stuck in here. I can't make it, but then if I jump, I gotta get a running start. Jump, woohoo! Alright, cool. Alright. Some of the controls are coming together, but you know, I'm a control freak, and I like everything to work exactly the way I want it to work. So that is definitely not working exactly how I want it. But the WASD stuff is not bad. I couldn't get the zoom working yet, but that's a work in progress. I'm stuck on a box. Alright, here we go. Let's jump on this box. Ta-da! And then switch the camera, place some stuff around, look around. Where am I? I'm like on one of these boxes. There I am. Alright, so the plan for next time, because I am running kind of late right now, I am going to make the pan work so that when you pan, the player moves with the pan, so he's not just standing there moving away from the pan, because this is the player's view, so you can't see yourself if you're in first person view, but somehow you still see yourself. So I need to fix that. So the player will always move with the pan. What else? The WASD doesn't work in this view, which is fine. It's not intended to. Tab. WASD does work here. Whoa, I don't think I've ever seen that. That cube has just stood up. It's gonna fall off. Oh well. Alright, let me think. What else do I need to think about? For programming in Unity, I'm programming in C#. Yeah, Julia J asked what programming language I was using, so I was just telling him I programmed in C#. Okay, yeah, my mind's just not working. I guess it's just a Monday, you know. Mine's working like at 50%. So we're definitely gonna have to revisit this camera stuff, but I might have to revisit it later. Probably this week. I'm just not feeling camera heavy. I want to work on other stuff. I think what I really want to work on, I think, is the terrain, like breaking the castles, and I do want to talk a little bit about that before quitting. Let's do that. Because I can go up to an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm at hour 15. Hopefully we can get this done. So the other part I want to talk about was making a sandcastle fall apart, basically. So how can we do that? I know I want to use particles, because particles is definitely the way to go. So if we take this nice little sandcastle, this one, the typical scale of it will be 0.33, 0.33, 0.33. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a particle system to this. And the particle system right now just shoots out particles forward. So if I zoom into this sucker, we'll zoom into the sandcastle if we can. There we go. So if we zoom into the sucker, we can see it's exactly where the sandcastle is and just shooting particles out. I'm going to move it off to the right just so we can compare. But this actually lives internally to the sandcastle. But if the sandcastle gets destroyed, I want it to turn into sand and then fall down, like a little trickle-down effect. So we're going to use particles to do that. Last stream, I was saying that, man, it sucks that we can't use anything but particles to make a particle system, and I was totally wrong. I looked on the internet and I saw that renderers. Right now we're using billboards, which is just a sprite that's always looking at you like this, like that, and no matter what angle, it's always looking at you. But we also have other stuff. We have like stretch billboard, horizontal billboards, but then I saw this mesh, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I use mesh, I'm going to use a cube, and for right now I'm just going to use the default white material, which is like no name, I think. No name. So here we go, no name material. But that is entirely too big, so we'll fix all of that, and we don't want it to shoot out like that. So first thing I want to do is I want the start speed to be 0. I just want it to show up. And I also want it to have gravity, so I want it to fall down. So all it's doing is falling down. What else? I want it to play on awake is fine. The emission, I want it to basically start all the particles almost right away. So we put this even higher than the max particles. So we can do max particles is like 1,000. Oh, and the size is too big. I think that's one of these things. Let's make this like 0.1. And just for speed sakes, let's make it every 2 seconds. So it just kind of shows up and falls down, shows up and falls down. Now the shape. Instead of this cone, I want it to be in the shape of a mesh. And can you guess what mesh I'm going to use? I'm going to use sandcastle. But we can see it is not rotated correctly. And that's that whole pivot point thing that I was talking about, like the stream before last. Like, I set the pivot to be 90 degrees. Now I got to rotate it back negative 90 degrees for it to look right in the particle system. So that's cool. And I want it to be off all the triangles. Okay. And the next thing is I want it to collide with the world. So I'm going to say collide world. And oh wow, it's doing something funky. I don't think I've seen that. Okay, anyway. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these particles to match up this and then fall apart. I don't want it to bounce for sure. So yeah, I want them to all fall. And maybe you can have a little bounce. Yeah, there you go. Like, it has a little effect. No dampening for now. And check this out. I'm going to also create a little sphere. And the sphere is also going to be 0.333, 0.333, 0.333. And I kind of want it to be exactly where this thing is. 0, 0, Oh, well, it's not exactly there. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate it then, like there. So if I go back to the particle system, now you can see it's all falling on that sphere and kind of scattering out everywhere. So that's definitely the effect I'm going for, but gosh, I don't want it to spread out that much. So I'm going to dampen the motion. Yeah, something like that, right? So that's kind of how... Where are all these spheres coming from? Hold on. Is it just getting shot out or something? Maybe. Okay, anyway. So we're emitting from the mesh, sandcastle. Should have a 0 lifetime. Okay, I still think it's way too big. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I don't know where these extra cubes are coming from, and it's driving me nuts, but it's probably something to do with, I don't know. So, cubes are still too big. I want to make this like 0.1. But I want it to cover the area. Let's make the gravity multiplier really low for now, just so we can see what we're working with. 0.1 for now. Yeah. Actually, let's make it 0 for now. That will just give you a look at how it looks before before you start doing stuff with it. So I think I have too few particles. Like, I'm liking maybe the 2 or the 3. And what you can also do, instead of just setting one size, you can say between two constants. So you can say between 0.3. Get back over there. Let's say 0.02 to 0.04. And that way we get a little randomness in there. Actually, let's even go smaller. But you see, I still see a whole bunch of holes in here, and I kind of want it to look a little bit solid. So for the solid part, I can make it 2,000. Eesh, 2,000. So I put twice as many particles in there, so it at least has a better shape of this than it did previously. I mean, it's not the best quality, but in the animation, it's gonna just happen so fast, no one's really gonna know. Okay, so now we can slowly start putting this gravity multiplier in. I'm just put it 0.3. There you go. Oh, maybe it's just not emitting fast enough. Let me just emit more at a time. The other thing that I can think of happening is that maybe some of the stuff is getting, like, it's just emitting some more. Oh, it's because of this looping thing, I think. Is that why? It's just, it emits some particles late, and I don't know why, and it's driving me crazy. But, okay, whatever. Not time to worry about it. Alright, so I guess I wanted to have a little more spread. Maybe 0.15. I'm slowing it down too much. Yeah, that looks like a good spread. The other cool thing you can do is size over lifetime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the size over lifetime. Right now it's at 1. You can set the size to something smaller, so as its life goes away, as it's about to die, it shrinks down to 0. So to simulate that, this is what that looks like. Alright, so it kind of like fades into the ground. And what's going to be left over is going to be a mound. It's not going to be quite a sphere. I kind of want it to be more like a pyramid-y looking thing, kind of, or a mountain. Think more mountain than a sphere. And that's what's going to be. That's going to be what's left behind once you blow up a sandcastle. And if I can do this well, it will be the terrain that got lifted up that's left over. So if I have a terrain object, I'm going to lift up the terrain just a little bit, and then the particles of sand kind of fall around and disappear. But then what you're left with is a slightly elevated terrain, and that's kind of what I want to do for the blowing up of the sandcastle. Yeah, but there's random cubes showing up out of nowhere. It's driving me crazy. So what do we got? 11:24. I got 6 more minutes. So I think that looks cool. If anyone's in here, yeah. Do you guys think this looks good at all? Like, I don't know. Like if I gave it a good texture and everything. just let me know, because I think that's the way I want to head. Besides those little like secondary falling particles, I don't know what that's all about. All right, so I keep simulating it just because I want to make sure it looks good. I think that looks good for now, at least a good first run. Maybe if I do world axis, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the way to go. Particles is definitely the way to go. I was trying to go like initially way uber in depth. I was going to try to make like hundreds of physics or rigid body cubes, and then I realized that was just going to be too crazy. So the only problem with like using this is like nothing interacts with each other, so all the cubes kind of just interact only with the world but not within each other. But I think it looks fine. Like I don't think they need to like interact with each other. At first I was like gung-ho that it had to be realistic, but I think this is a good workaround. Alright. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the support. So I got the sandcastle, and the cool thing is you can do it for each sandcastle. So I have this sandcastle, but then what you can do is apply this prefab, and then it exists now in that prefab forever. And then what else am I gonna say? So if I have this sandcastle and then I enable the prefab, the particle launches right away. So it goes like that, and it launches right in the game and then disappears and then leaves that little mound right there. And then if I do it again, it launches again. So cool. So next time when I destroy a sandcastle, what I might do is if the player collides with the sandcastle, just destroy it and make it fall into the ground, and then leave a little sphere for now until I make the little mound. Might want to put that sphere in here too. Alright, so the other thing I want to do is, now that I have it set up kind of the way I want it to, just reset all the positions so that it exists exactly where the sandcastle already exists, and then disable the objects you're not using. So just in really slow motion, this is what's going to happen. You can walk up to the sandcastle. Let me walk up a little better. Alright, so there's the sandcastle. In really slow motion, this is what's going to happen when you destroy the sandcastle. We're going to disable this model. We're going to enable this model. And we're going to enable this model at the same time. And why does that? Oh, don't reset the rotation, because there we go. And then that's what it looks like. Oh, and all that crazy weirdness. No, it's still doing that weird like extra cube at the top. Why? Why is it doing those extra cubes at the top? Anyway, that's what's going to happen. That's how it gets destroyed. Oh, do you think so? You think it's the bouncing issue? Totally worth a shot. I'm going to set it to 0 because I really don't want it to be anywhere. And I'm in play mode, so what I'm doing is not really taking effect. So just a reminder to myself. No, it's still just coming out of nowhere. There's not that many. I just want to say it's something to do with it's colliding with the sphere right away, and that's a problem. No, but even if I move the particle system up a little bit and simulate it. How do I simulate this? Like it emits. Yeah, right? Like that typically doesn't happen. Might be the size, start delay, start lifetime. That's okay. Start speed. Start rotation, gravity modifier. Let's put it back at 1. This is like at real-time gravity. It just falls really fast, and then a whole bunch of other stuff falls for some reason. Maybe if I just do it at the edges or something. Nope. The vertex? I mean, this. The vertex are just the points at the ends, so that doesn't even look good. I like the triangle. Oops. But yeah, I don't know what else is happening here. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. I'll put up the solution later. Okay, cool. Having fun. Alright, so let's go to my readme so I can close out the stream. Where's my readme? Here we go. So we partially did these camera things. E07. We'll just say partial. And we set up the particle system here. System and a bad mound. It's not a very good mound. Okay, so in the future, what we're going to do is create a beach terrain. Let's see, what are we really going to do next time? I'm definitely going to fix the particle appearing weird places. Did I spell weird right? Yes, just like Kyriakos said, weird places. So we're going to fix the particle appearing weird places. What else are we going to do? We're going to... Yeah, I think we're just going to have to create a terrain. That way we can modify it. So I think those are the next two things we'll do next time. Create a beach terrain and fix the particle appearing in weird places. Hopefully I'll have the fix before I start the stream. Anything else? Collect sand to make molds. Deformation of terrain, that's later. Waterways, marine life. Yeah, hey, I did this one. Git and cloud build. Separate movement engine, I did that too. Cool, I just gotta make sure I'm... Okay, those are not bonus, those are future. Okay, yeah guys, it was great. Thank you all for watching me and taking part in my stream. I absolutely love just people helping me out, especially when I need it. And if I can do anything for y'all, let me know. If there's anything you really want to learn, I will try to cover that as I'm going through. My schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about 5:30 to 6:30. Sometimes it'll last a little long, so now I went like 30 minutes over, so I'm at like 7. But I might start a little late sometimes because I get home from work at 5 and I try to just like unwind a bit and then do my thing. So yeah, about 5:30 Wednesday will be my next one. Okay, anything else? No? You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, all the same name, ETdoFresh. And if you just have any messages for me, or if you just want me to cover something that I'll try to incorporate into my project, I definitely will try to fit it in. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.